Good afternoon, this is Rich Nelson with Allendale, covering the wrap-up comments. Today is Wednesday, February 8th here of 2012. As far as action, of course, we're looking at the outside markets to start out with here today. We're still looking at these Greek talks. In other words, trying to get the Greek political leaders to agree on further cuts in spending, further cuts in the government labor force, and other type of issues here. One thing we will point out is, of course, one German official noted, you know what, Greece has actually made such very little progress since 2010 on this whole government reduction in spending type of issue. So there is a little tone of disappointment going to these talks, which are currently ongoing right now. So we have the U.S. dollar up 2. We have crude oil up 47 cents, and gold up about $13 here. Of course, in anticipation of this report out tomorrow morning, the monthly supply-demand report, grain markets really didn't do too much as far as the settlements. Corn up a quarter, beans down a half cent, and wheat down about 1.5. While we didn't move too much as far as the settlement price here today, we certainly did have some wide-ranging movements, though, throughout the day. At one point, corn was up 6.5 cents. Later on during the morning, we were down about 10.25. So we've been on both sides of the range here for corn, and actually finished pretty much undecided here for the day. Funds sold in net 2,000 contracts as a whole. For soybeans, we've got to point out today's trade, while we did close down a half cent, we did reach up to 12.44 3/4 on that March soybean contract. So this is now the second time where we tried to retest those highs back from January 9th and failed. So this is disappointing on the charts as far as that goes. Fund sales today on the soybeans down about 3,000 contracts here. Over on wheat, sales as a whole were down about 2,000 contracts. So we, of course, going to see little volume in front of this report out tomorrow morning, the monthly supply-demand report. For news, we did get weekly ethanol production here today at 9:30. Of course, that did show a slight decline here from last week's pace, which we should expect, and we always do seasonally. And this lower pace will continue here for the next 2 to 3 months. But the key issue we're looking at is the fact that ethanol production still remains higher than last year. In fact, this newest number here was up 3% over last year here. So while we do have very valid concerns about rising stocks of ethanol located in storage, we've got lower ethanol prices. We also have concern about margin rates. As we noted yesterday, margins running about 17 cents in the red right now for ethanol plants in Iowa. We should expect this actually at this point, and the fact that we aren't even at below last year's levels yet is actually a pretty positive thing to speak of here. In terms of overall news this week, of course, while we have these concerns about ethanol, we also have some concerns about new crop corn. As far as acreage, those two Newswire stories we noted in our comments here yesterday, suggesting that there will be ample acres here for lined up next year. Another negative factor we can point out for this week is the fact that Drew, our own Drew Lerner of World Weather Inc., he did note there could be a change going on right now for these ENSO readings, which pretty much are the key basis for looking at La Nina. And he noted that we may actually see this La Nina weakening in March and April. In fact, it may be even done by summer. So we could return to normal precip patterns here after we get this crop planted. So that's also another bearish thing to point out. One thing, now let's look at the other side here. We do have some positive factors. Tomorrow we will have USDA drop corn in South America for both Argentina as well as Brazil. They will also be dropping soybeans for both Argentina and Brazil. In fact, they may even drop Paraguay a little bit as well. So we have some balancing factors that still lead to this whole question of a very tight old crop situation for corn and potentially ballooning supplies from new crop issues as well. So this debate is still ongoing in the marketplace right now. As far as action on livestock, up about 22 cents here today. You know what the fact is that beef packers have now seen 3 days of wholesale beef increases. We've somehow seen them decide to rebound on the slaughter end here. While we had 2 previous weeks of slaughter declines, it's interesting that the recent pace last couple of days is actually not as bad as those big kill cutback weeks were. For bids right now for cash cattle, nothing is posted yet. The trade's expecting 122 to be posted against 126 asking prices. If packers could come out with bids at 122, that means they would happily buy at 123, which is steady with last week. So it looks like this week's cash cattle tone, steady, maybe even $1 higher, could be possible. This comes after taking $3 off in the past 2 weeks. Over on hogs, down 15 cents for the April contract. While we are seeing some strength here for wholesale beef, wholesale pork is not quite fixed just yet. We're noting cash hogs were down today. Also a mixed trade here to the cash pork report here today. So we do have some changing ideas maybe on cattle. For hogs, the trade is not quite ready to change its mind here just yet. Looks like mixed tone here for hog prices here for the next foreseeable future. As far as action overall, of course, we do have this very important monthly supply demand report. That's out tomorrow morning at 7:30. Obviously, we're going to have Paul in the driver's seat tomorrow morning with the early morning comments for you guys here on this YouTube update. He's going to explain exactly what this means. But for more importantly, for you guys who have some general questions about what to do with old crop, what type of new crop protection we should be taking right now, please feel free to give us a call here at Allendale, 1-800-262-7538. We have a full staff of very well and very knowledgeable brokers who will be happy to help you out with any of your questions here, whether regarding marketing some grain or trading as well. So we'll be happy to help you out, 1-800-262-7538. This is Rich Nelson. Have a good trading day and a good trading week.